Good afternoon, everyone. Lots, lots. Um, there's a lot of different instances that happened when we lived in Canada when we first came into his community. Um, so when we went to buy the house, in Canada, you have to have a lawyer who looks over the deed. Thank God, because this guy, if he would have died, his own wife would have been cut off. She wouldn't have had any water. She didn't even know that until later. I'm sure that was a big issue. So, phew, escaped another one. Um, but after he left for work, because he worked out of the country, um, there started being little issues. Um, one day we came home, I'm doing laundry, and next you know, my floor's being flooded. And I was worried about electrocution, so I went and turned the main box off, and then went in there and got it figured out. I had to call the fire department, and they came and mopped it all up. There were two separate instances with that washer. Somebody literally took the hose out and put it on the side. And then there was another incident. Uh, my girl and I were taking a bath. She was just a baby. And the hot water top of the lid shoots off. And they had put tile in the bathroom, but it was the wall tile. Um, and on the floor, it was really slippery. So I put a towel on the floor and I used that to walk through the floor. So we wouldn't slip and fall me and her, and I had to call the fire department because they had to come out and turn that valve off. And then they mopped up the water for us. And then little things started happening. I know that somebody was in my house. I could feel them, like their energy, but nothing was taken. They were just in there. And I'm like, what's going on? Because we had put the house up for rent for almost 3 years. Yeah, um, we had the same people. So my son comes back from the U.S. and he's hanging with us, right? And we would go into town. It's about an hour away, and we would go and go shopping for the month. And when we come back, things would be moved around. So when her dad came back, letting him know what was going on. I'm having all these flashes. Like he wants me to talk about everything. Um, so when he came back, I asked him for a dog. It was for sale in Nova Scotia. It was a blue-haired Great Dane, and they're really smart. So we went down, we bought them, and uh, one of the they weren't licensed, so we didn't have to pay thousands of dollars for them, thank God. So we bring them home. Well, when I'm sorry. So when I went to pick him up, I noticed that his dad was young, and the mamas were old. She didn't do anything with them. But the dad would throw like twigs into the river, and he'd go in there and get it and come out. He'd come back. All the puppies would. They were really super cool. And so I don't know, but there was just something about him I really liked, and I named him Luke. And so I started training him from 8 weeks on. I continued to work with Luke on a lot of different aspects, and we were still having problems in the house. It was getting like more and more noticeable that somebody was entering the house. Well, under the house there was brick that was not, you know, um, tied together with concrete. It was loose, and so I had a sense there was something going on in the basement. So I started taking off the roof part of them. So you have your floor, and then you have a ceiling that people put in. OMG. Of course, I didn't open up that can of worms, but I did. So I went to pull off one of the things, and mice were falling down. So when we rented the house for the 3 years after we bought it, they were putting mouse traps up there, but they weren't taking out the mice. We had to take them out. They were putting. It actually wasn't mouse traps. It was poison. Oh god, it was horrible. And then after we got all that cleaned out of all that second part, um, we still hadn't got that sealed, and the insurance company came out because they wanted us to seal that, but we just hadn't got to it because he was gone a lot. I mean, I probably could have done it, but I just didn't want to do it. I love my own things to do. So as the months continue, um, weird things started happening. I mean, really spooky stuff after this. I mean, and I was continually working with Luke. So Luke was just under a year old, about 6 months old. And it was strange. We were always calling the Mounties. We put an alarm system in the house. Um, there was no forced entry, but the house is locked now. So I'm thinking they're coming in through that area down there. And so I just was hoping it would stop. And the Mountie was like frustrated too, because when my alarms went off, he also got I mean, he was out there too, just as fast as I was. As soon as I left the house, within 20 minutes, my alarms were going off. So, um, I, they didn't have cameras back then. I don't even know if they had access to those kind of things. So then it stopped for a while, and um, and then we started having spiritual encounters. That was kind of crazy. So my son kept seeing this woman in a white wedding dress in the basement. That's where his room was. It was a big house. We lived on, I think it was a 3 acre plot, and we had neighbors on each side of us. I mean, this huge propane tank in our backyard. It was an eyesore. I don't know why they didn't put that at the very back of the property, but they didn't. And it was only to service um, a hot stove in the sitting room. But that was pointless room too. It was freezing cold in there all the time. They didn't insulate it. They just put in some fake crap. I took the whole room apart. I didn't like it. It bothered me. And I was getting ready to make it all one floor. But we never got to that either. But so I had a feeling that the person had been entering my house and messing with us at nighttime because it was all glass, and I used to work in that front room all the time because I liked it out there. There was no blinds, no nothing. But I just had this sense I was being watched, and I was like, what? And we're living in farm country. Don't think people have anything better to do? So I just figured it was neighbors, being nosy because we're English speakers, and both my kids were learning Spanish. So, but so I had this sense. I step out the front door and I have a feeling this person pissed on our light pole. So we have this huge light pole at the end of or at the end of our property. And my dog tracked him right to the front door. He opens that door, boy, that Luke, boom, right on his nuts, man. Bit him. And I was just telling him I was just walking the dog, and he just came over to say hi, I guess. Sorry about that. And then I went home and called the Mounties right away. And I told him what I was doing with my dog. And he yells at me, why didn't you tell us we could have had him certified? You know what I mean? Never thought about it. I just wanted to catch who was messing around with my family, me and my family, causing us harm and all kinds of stuff. So the Mounties went and had a chat with him, and we changed our locks. It turns out the Rose that we lived next to, their family. These were his brothers, and their oldest son, his son, was coming out of our house messing with us. But I really felt it was somebody else because who wants to damage a house for no reason? It just seemed kind of weird. They're probably just trying to chase us off. But families do weird things to people. And it was just crazy. I mean, but I'm just thankful it stopped. So, um, here comes winter. And in Canada, the snow is like an ice rain. It comes down rain wet, and then it turns ice and then snow. And I was late because we used to stay up real late at night all the time. We're up late, late, late. We're all sitting there watching television. It's the middle of the night and it's snowing. And there's a pounding on the garage wall on the inside in the garage, and we're in the living room. And you can literally see the wall move. It's just pounding on it. So I go and I flip on the light, and there's no watermarks on on the on the garage floor. So I call the Mounties right away, and he says, "Look outside to see if you see any footprints." Because I told him there was no water or anything inside. It is snowing, and I said, "No, I don't see any." Him and I are just like, I'm freaked out. Me and my kids are just terrified. Like we don't know what the heck's going on. Holy smacks, bro! And there's no marks. But we're sitting there trying to figure out why is somebody pounding on the garage wall. Super strange. Um, we never, to this day, we don't know. It's probably spirit, but it was like an eye opener. Like, but why were you? Why was it pounding at that moment? Was there somebody watching? Was somebody gonna enter the house through a window? I don't know, man. It was crazy. There's a lot of crazy stuff. But so my husband at the time, he wasn't in the country. He was in the U.S. working, and well, actually, he was in Toronto. Excuse me, I take that back. He was in Toronto at that time, and he he told me it's just probably your imagination. All three of us, yeah, it's our imagination. Okay, so that spirit kept happening in the basement, the one in the wedding dress. I have a really good friend who was from the same country I was in, or, excuse me, same province, but she came from a tribal. Um, you can only fly in and out of there, I believe. So what happened was, I let my mom know, and so my mom and the Lord took care of everything. That was it. All that activity stopped. But then, right before, um, because I called him at the time and I told him, since you're not going to be around, I'm just going to head into Maine. I'll just get a house there, me and the kids. Because it was real lonely, being out there out of, out of nowhere. I mean, we were in the middle of freaking nowhere and no support at all. None. So we started having balls rolling through the house. They were rolling. And then she had this toy. It had 9 things on it. And they were speaking things. And it always said, "Mommy, mommy, 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 mommy." I mean, I'd have to go put it away, turn it off. An hour later, back on. "Mommy, mommy, 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 mommy." It was so weird. Just a lot of weird stuff started happening, supernatural stuff. So we put the house up on the market. He came and got us, and we moved out of that Providence. Thank God, because it was crazy. I just want to share something really with you guys really quick. I don't know why, but it came to my mind when I was talking about that supernatural stuff. Um, so when I first moved to Toronto with him, he wants to go to the movies. Well, and I left her with her Uncle June. And so we went, and he didn't have any problems with her because she usually would scream and cry if we tried leaving her with anyone. And so we're sitting in this movie, and when I was in the province we were in, it was lonely. And the snow is snowing. There's nobody coming. Never had visitors in the wintertime. It was just nothing. And he takes me to see this movie about the same thing I just lived. And I got up in the middle of that theater and I go, "You're a real asshole. You know that? I lived like this for the last 9 months and you want to take me to relive my nightmare? Are you out of your mind?" And I left that theater. I was so angry. And he was dumbfounded. Everybody was dumbfounded. That movie theater was hilarious. I was like, oh my gosh, I was so angry, bro. It was a Civil War movie, and she was waiting for the soldiers to come back for her love of her life. And I'm thinking to myself, who is this guy? Oh my gosh, I'm laughing. I laugh about it now, but then I was just super angry. I was like, how dare you? Whatever. But it makes me laugh today just thinking about it. It shows me a lot of things. Um, it is what it is, right? But I don't go see movies because there was this one movie. It's my favorite movie ever. It's on one of my other Facebook pages, and I start freaking out. We're in the middle of this movie. It's about a doctor who is in. He wants to help. He's got every kind of doctor in the world, but they're all students. And he brings awareness that when you have cancer, you need to live happy. And oh, it just gives me goosebumps thinking about it. I just want to cry right now. But there's a part in there, and I was freaking out. All his friends and everybody were like, "Oh no, that's not gonna happen." I told him what was gonna happen to her, and it happened. Um, that movie just really touches my heart because I'm one of those people who will it's like I'm drawn to sick people. I can't explain it. I have a neighbor who moved in upstairs, and I always tell her, if you need anything, just let me know. And she had got pneumonia, and I mean, I remember her leaving for work. She was suffering, but I didn't want to intervene because sometimes I'll intervene um, because I know they need help. But Father always wants me to sit back now. Um, I'm not sure why, but he has me sit back. So what happened was she got COVID too, and then she was telling me about it. She was in her last stages, and my daughter was a little worried about getting COVID. And I told her, "Where's your faith?" You know, during that whole period, Father had prepared me prior how much toilet paper to use. My house was completely stocked up. You know, I had lived by myself, and then I got a roommate who helped me provide. Father helped provide me with someone. Um, he even sent people over to help me get my stuff moved, and I didn't want to do it. I was really depressed around that time. There were some issues between me and my daughter. Faith, that's right. And I don't worry about catching anything from anybody. I just don't because I have faith. When they wanted us to wear masks, I didn't wear them because I live by my faith, not by fear. And and when it came mandatory is when I wore them. I respected the law because Father taught me that in Scripture some time back. Even the President of the United States, I may not like them, but they still represent our country. So you still have to treat them with respect, right? So a power of authority has always been big with Father right away. I mean, that was one thing he taught me. One of the first things he taught me. So I'm helping her, right? She comes to me and she says, "Can you take me to the store? I need to get some food." And we get on top of the stairs. She goes, "Can I give you a hug?" And she hugged me. And I felt something from her, but it was like the angels healed her. I mean, she was healed like that. I mean, it was the weirdest thing ever. I've never seen anyone like it. And she started getting better. And then I told her she needs wee because she lost so much weight. Me too. Every day she's like, "I can't believe how much better I feel." Every day I feel like I'm getting better and better and better, like live or more live. But I only see her on the weekends. And then I give her rides to work early in the morning because she had pneumonia and the other. And I do that because I don't want to get sick again. Because I care. I care for people deep down. I love them. Um, even people who hurt people, I still love them. I get angry about it and I pray for them, but I don't show evil for evil, right? And there's a lot of things people can do. You can pray for them. You can ask for deliverance. You can ask open their eyes. There's so many things you can do. But these things I didn't know right away. Like I had to learn like everybody else. You know, I'm not special. I just care. And I feel that emotion for others. I do. I feel it for them. And I'm starting to feel it for myself, but I'm just rock hard. I mean, one day it may not be like that. Maybe another 5 or 10 years. I don't know. But I'm starting to love who I am and embrace me because I have a lot to offer. And, I just try to do the best I can and live my life to the fullest. Well, the best I can at this point. But, and I don't believe in purposely going out and hurting somebody or calling them names or saying things that aren't true. It doesn't work like that. This is not how life is supposed to be. Love. Oh my gosh. Love. Love, 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 love. I get carried away sometimes. Don't mean to. But I think it's important that, I just think it's important. I think that love is so important in life. I mean, I've never been shown real love before. I have felt it, but when it's not reciprocated, it's not reciprocated. So you just move on, right? So, um, how I know it was real love for me, because when people would hurt me, it would make me cry. That's when I was younger, and then I just got harder, I guess, over the years, and you know, that was hard until just recently. Oh my gosh, girl. Oh my, you know, I love life. I really do. You know, I stopped doing art. I get this feeling I should go back, start doing it again. But I just want to heal more before I get started again because now that I know why I do art, you know, I even have, um, father had me do this one painting upside down, but I had to trace it first. And so I traced it. And then um, I traced it upside down. Because they say that when you do something upside down, it changes something in your thinking pattern. But I don't know about that. Just want to say peace out. Love you guys. Take real good care and hope you get a lot out of this. All right, bye for now.